Two experts in ICF.
Yeah.
Decades of experience. One podcast.
Yeah.
Two hosts with a lot to say.
Look, I cannot sit through a struggle. I gotta get up and hustle. I gotta push through the pain, cause really that's how you build muscle.
Welcome to the Build with ICF podcast with your hosts, Trevor Brown and Heather Herring Brown. Yep, they're a package deal. With over 20 years of ICF installation experience, Trevor can throw down some expertise on sales, marketing, and training. On the other side of the table sits Heather, aka the girl boss, and she's earned the title as the owner of an award-winning ICF construction company, a drafting and design company specializing in ICF. And the numbers? With a master's in accounting, she does that too. Sleeves up, boots on. This is the Build with ICF podcast.
I don't want nothing for free. I'm here to work. Been through the dirt. I've been through the dirt, yeah.
And we're back with another episode from World of Concrete.
Episode 2 from World of Concrete, which is episode 10 on the Build with ICF podcast.
Oh, yes, it is.
See how I did that?
Good job.
Math. I did math. The difference is being we are actually doing another, by popular demand, another Chad Hiller podcast. He's our first 2-time guest now. So you've got all kinds of like bragging rights now as the first 2-time guest, first guest to be on twice in the same day.
Yeah.
I mean, this is amazing. But now he's switched his hat and he took off his MST bar hat and now he's wearing his Plumwall hat.
Yeah, he's wearing the hat that we all know him for more than the other hat. So,
Right. The other was a surprise hat. This is his
yeah.
regular hat. So, Chad, welcome back to the show. We've been here in the same spot for the last hour, but welcome back. And so if you want to reintroduce yourself a little bit and maybe take us through a little bit of like, what you did a little bit before, how Plumwall came to be, and tell us a little bit about Plumwall.
Yeah, sure. Regarding Plumwall ICF Bracing, how it started, it was actually an inventor named Dan and an ICF rep named Paul, who you guys probably know them both.
Mr. Camozzi will be a guest on here.
He was a part of the beginning stages of this. It was a lot different than you see today. And that's actually something maybe for later on, but what we've done is improve this brace over 20 years from feedback from contractors using it, guys like Trevor, guys like Mike Simons, anybody and everybody that has a suggestion, we've listened to it. Some of them aren't a fit, but some of them make a lot of sense.
Right.
And we've improved it over the past 20 years as a result. The original inventor, he was a true inventor. I think he's got a long laundry list of things he invented. They did an ICF build back when ICF was not that common. The bracing system didn't work. And he said, there's got to be a better way. And an all-in-one was made out of a piece of shelving, the original design shelving that you would see in a big box store. And that's where it started.
Did they start with the all-in-one or did they start with Plum 3 and then into all-in-one?
The original Plumwall brace was a one-piece brace.
Really?
Yeah. I think the actual original name was the original.
Huh.
And it was
how original. I beat you to it.
It had the same thought process as you see today with much different components, much different quality control. It was
That's wild. That is so backwards to what I would think. Like I would think like it started with the Plum 3 and then went to this like, oh, we're going to make it even fancier one. They started fancy and then went to the more basic one.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which I mean, to give people context that are, we got to remember we have a lot of DIY listeners that are chiming in and we're getting a lot of questions, about kind of the more basic stuff about this. So we do have to back up and not assume that everybody's been doing this for 20 years. But so you guys have two systems. We actually use both of them. I mean, full disclosure, we are a Plumwall user and we love our Plumwall. We use it a lot. That's why we brought it up multiple times in previous podcasts. But we have two different styles. We have the Plum 3 and we have the all-in-one. And I tell people, like, if we look at it, I go, what's the difference between it? I can tell you from my standpoint of it, my guys prefer to use the all-in-one. I just watched you before we started recording this. You were, we're in the booth. He's selling. So he's doing his job here, but he's selling stuff. We watched you do a demo with an all-in-one that just smooth as silk, right? I'm not our guys aren't quite as smooth as you are. I don't know if we've done it as many times as you have, but my guys love that because they pick up one piece, they set it against the wall just like you did. If anybody wants to, we'll tag you guys and your website in the podcast notes so they can go watch the videos on the YouTube channel and all that. It's amazing. It just flops out one, boom, 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 one piece. And then you have your Plum 3, which is a 3-piece unit. We personally use that for rental system because it's just
I feel like it's the fail safe. You can't break it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like with the Plum, the all-in-one is so slick and awesome and just easy to use. But you got guys that are DIY or something. This is kind of a 3-piece that goes together, a little bit different system. And you can go on the website and look at the difference. But
it's interesting you mentioned both braces. Before we started recording here, Trevor and I were just casually talking about the fact that we had an internal discussion, I'm going back over a decade, about discontinuing the Plum 3.
Yeah.
And ease of manufacturing, simple messaging. And we had a lively debate, which as you can see, we continue to offer both because there are situations where both offer advantages.
Yeah.
And we do. And I would say we provide the majority all-in-ones, but there are builders, Marty, for example, who we were just talking about, he prefers the Plum 3. Yep. A lot of it's perhaps you've always built with 3-piece brace. You're more comfortable. You have the process.
Yeah.
Both of them offer the platform level single person alignment system. So you're adjusting that with a cordless drill.
Yes.
I like to say, put your best guy plumbing the wall.
Or gal.
Yeah.
Put your
best ICF worker on the platform.
Your best human.
By themselves. They can concentrate on plumbing that wall with a cordless drill. It's arguable that you end up with a better finished quality product because it's like, hey, Heather's going to go adjust the walls.
Yes.
The guy that was down here adjusting with a chunk of rebar, hey, a little more, a little less, yelling back and forth, put him on cleanup, doing something more productive, and let Heather, the expert, align that wall perfectly.
And backing up a little bit because this is something that I think is probably the biggest deal that you realize. So everybody here knows I've been doing this a long time. When we started, I mean, the size of the units we were using were 3 times bigger than what they are now to be able to move that same amount. Like the technology and just what you guys do with a smaller, lighter piece is awesome. But we used to stand there and it took 2 guys because you'd have one guy up on the deal looking at the string line and he'd be yelling in, out. There's a guy cranking at the bottom. You're hoping it's right. The big thing that makes Plumwall different, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, are you guys the only one that have the nut adjustment at the top basically instead of a hand crank? Is anyone else automated at all?
That's correct. We are. One thing I like to highlight about Plumwall, and I like to, like I say, highlight the positives about our brace.
Right.
We are ICF industry supporters.
Correct.
All the blocks, all the braces have their part in the industry. The nice thing about our process is the only thing we manufacture is ICF bracing. Right. So we're focused on that. That's a positive about us.
Yeah.
I feel we've been able to make the improvements over the years because we are laser focused on our ICF bracing manufacturing.
Agreed.
So I think that's an advantage we offer. We look at ourselves as in the ICF industry, whereas maybe that's not the case for other manufacturers that have their priorities elsewhere. Our priority, as we heard in the last podcast, is the ICF industry.
Mm-hmm. I think you guys, the one thing that's great, and we teased you guys about this because you guys are Canadian. If you haven't figured out the boat and the process that they are Canadian, you guys are so damn nice. And so we have to push you guys to give like why your product, like get mean and get competitive. But I love you guys. That's what's great about you guys. Like you guys literally, you're here to better the industry, which we all are. It's great. We tease you guys about, well, okay, tell us something bad about the other people, but that's not what we're looking for. This is a platform for you to talk about your product, but to brag on you a little bit, because I know it's hard when it's your own product. There's certain things that you guys do, you're downplaying how easy it is to stick your impact wrench on that and go and drill it out. And so like for those DIY guys, they don't understand that because they've never stood at the bottom and had to crank it by hand. It's amazing the technology you guys have in that and how that's worked. It's very different than anybody else.
And what we're looking at today is version 3 of that adjustment mechanism.
Uh-huh.
It always worked, but it's greatly improved. We increased the throw available.
Mhm.
So if someone puts the braces away without taking them to the home position, thank you, Trevor, for the home position
Mhm.
tip.
Yeah.
Where you you place your hand on the round tube, and it should be a hand width.
About
That's
a
your
hand.
home position,
Yeah.
which means you can travel to or fro
Right.
either way.
Yep.
Put it that way. So yeah, we've made improvements on that over the years. The whole all-in-one, if we're talking about the all-in-one Plumwall brace, the whole system is designed with efficiency in mind. We have the fold-up design, the neat, tidy storage crate where we have 3 levels of 8 braces. I like to say you see it drive by on a truck and you can tell your guys packaged it right and that there are 24 braces in there.
Just so you know, people do package them wrong. I don't know how. Sometimes I literally am in amazement. I think we could start our own page of like how to put things in wrong. It's insane, but yeah, it is so clean. And we're sitting, I like I said, this is all audio, so you're missing a little bit of our what we're looking at here, but we're sitting there looking at the crate. The storage crate that you guys have is a great setup. We use it. I mean, the big thing for us was I started again, 20 plus years ago in this business. We would hand load all this stuff on a flatbed and then hand unload it and move it around and stuff. The fact that most job sites now do have some sort of either a front end loader of some kind, a skid steer, or they've got a telehandler, or they might have something they can crane with it. You guys have attachment features that work for forks from all 4 sides. You guys have tie down features that can be craned from, picked up and craned with chains. You have points to do that, and they stack. And so I can put 12 of these things on a flatbed trailer and haul them to a job site, which is awesome.
Yeah. And the crate's gone through a few different versions over the years. We were trying to keep safety in mind where you can lift it safely from all 4 sides. So
Well, that's no fun.
Fork pockets, all 4 sides, lift it from the sides, lift it from the ends. You have that nice male-female connection to stack them on top of one another, lifting lugs welded into the top 4 corners, like you mentioned. So yeah, it's meant to be a permanent storage and transport crate. Having said that, there are contractors like the guys in the video behind us that say, hey, I'm not set up with equipment. I'm a father-son operation. In their case, they have a flat trailer that they place 120 12-foot all-in-ones on. They back the trailer in, they take the braces off, and then Ben in the video that we talked about before loads them back on, and away they go to the next job site. So
yeah, and we have a couple that we run on in trailers as well. Still, that's something that a throwback to what we used to do, but we really do like the crates a lot. That's pretty slick.
I like the crates because you don't have to worry about somebody strapping them down on a flatbed trailer. And so what we actually have a utility trailer that's 12 feet long. So our 12-foot alignment fits in there perfectly. And, so it just goes in the trailer. We have a way that it's supposed to be loaded in there. And then, we take pictures of that. So we show people this is how it needs to be loaded back in the trailer. So they don't load everything, all the heavy stuff on the very front of it, make it tongue heavy.
Yeah.
And so, there's a reason to have a trailer where somebody doesn't have the equipment. And then there's another time when, you have the crates. And I love that because this is so easy to store during the little bit of time that we actually do get it back in our shop. When it starts snowing in our area is the only time that I typically see our alignment back in our shop. It's out all year long, but it stacks so nice. We can push it up against the wall and stack them multiple heights.
And one icing on top of the cake, it's not going to make the brace operate better, but it is a bit of advertising. We can custom brand these crates.
Yeah.
We have blue, innovative blue. Our racks are innovative blue. The ones, the Plumwall. So Plumwall is the orange brace, right? Like that is a color. In most industries, everyone has a color that they're kind of known for. Just so to our listeners, if you've seen the orange braces, if you follow our social medias, you've seen them on our job sites as orange, and that's their thing. But you can also order those crates in blue, which
any color,
which work great for us because we are Boise State Bronco fans and they are blue and orange. So when we get our turnbuckles are orange and our crates are blue, we look like big BSU fans, and everyone loves that where we're at. So that's awesome. But we do have the custom laser etched, innovative custom homes on our ends of our units, and they're great. And so let me back up a little bit, kind of like a big picture. One thing we've talked about, like in the DIY pitfalls, people, what they need to know. the alignment system is so important to, like, I mean, you if you want to talk about one thing that's make or break, I would almost argue that the alignment system you use is more important than the block you choose. And that's why we've said to a lot of people, if you're choosing an alignment or choosing a block system, or you're choosing a distributor, you're choosing a builder, if you're a DIY and you're buying it somewhere, find out what alignment system they have available. Where can you get it? You know, how can you rent it from them? What do you got to do? Keeping those walls straight is so important, and it's just the biggest thing. So when we're talking to the DIY guys listening, we're not just trying to like pitch this to the professionals that are buying 100 crates of these things. You know, we're talking to the homeowner. Find out who those people are that have that system. You know, call. I mean, and they can. I'm assuming they can reach out to you, Chad, and you can say, "Yeah, where are you at? Okay, yeah, I know we've sold some guys to these guys, and you can help them find those people." But finding the right alignment system could make or break your project. I mean, it's pretty important.
It is. And we usually, I mean, it sounds like a bit of a sales pitch, but I usually like to say,
this is what we're here for. So yeah, that's good.
I usually like to say it's nice to have a handful of braces left over than be short a handful of braces when you have a pump truck coming down the driveway. If you think you need 40,
so true.
Let's like, well, our typical starter kit is 2 crates of 24 braces,
right,
48 braces, 2 crates. It's enough for about 240 linear feet of wall. So that's
we do the same thing. If I'm doing a takeoff for somebody and I say, okay, you're going to need, 40 pieces. I say, well, they come in 24s. We'll just send you 48 because you're going to need, I mean, you may not need, but if I have an extra pieces and I have extra time, I always have the guys throw a couple on the corners on the outside. I have if it's a garage wall with a little piece, I'm like, hey, throw one on double side that one. Like there's no reason to play with it. And it's such a good system to where it can get so straight and so square and everything. It's like, why wouldn't you just make sure? I mean, we said this on the DIY episode, a couple episodes ago. We said you get, you start it straight, it ends straight. You start it crooked, it ends crooked. And that is so true. And the way you start or the way you make things crooked or not crooked is with an alignment system. So it's such a huge part of the whole ICF build. I don't know. It's kind of, I wish people could see us visually because we're sitting here looking at
I know we are. We're
staring at the display. It's an awesome display. So.
I think when you mentioned about starting, I hear a lot of builders, experienced builders like yourself in the ICF industry will tell me that they'll lean it in towards the inside a touch. And then when they fill it with concrete, it almost naturally settles plumb. And then again, Heather's coming along and fine tune adjusting that to be bang on.
Yeah. We'll do, usually the way we do it is like bang on in the corner, belly it in a little bit in the inside, which we've got away from bringing too much in. And this is a shout out to all the block companies that we use. If you use a good quality block, those blocks stay pretty straight, but we toe it in because just scientifically speaking, if it's leaning a certain way, and I try to explain it in the way of almost like chopping down a tree. If you notch, when you're cutting down a tree and you notch the one side, it's going to fall to that side. You want it to be little notched to the inside so that if the concrete does start to lean one way, it leans to the side you're pushing on, because pulling, you're just pulling with the strength of the webs and the screws. It has nothing to do with your alignment system. That's the strength of the screws and the web you're using. So it's pretty amazing. So to give you guys a little bit too, I keep thinking like, oh, these are normal questions for us because we do this all the time. But even thinking back to the real simplistic side of a DIY person listening to this, there's 3 basic components to an alignment system. So when we're talking about this alignment system, I want you to picture, and obviously we'll, on our socials, you can see this, and on the website you can see it, but you have your strong back, you have your scaffold bracket, and you have your turnbuckle. Those are the 3 main pieces of your system. And all of those are important in different ways. And the one thing I really like about with the all-in-one system, because we do a lot of tall wall, is you guys have the extension pieces that can go up and beyond. So you guys start at 8 feet and you go to what? We can
do anything from 4 feet.
4 feet
to 28 feet, and anywhere in between. The 4-foot brace is we call it a knee wall brace. Like all our braces, it adjusts with a cordless drill from the top. I mean, if you're doing all of that, sure, get set up with that. But to me, if you have a short wall, use a 10-foot brace. Don't invest in.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of overkill.
But you're not in the way. Yeah.
We have some builders that do a lot of that, so we do offer that. But the standard brace at a 10-foot height doesn't mean you're stuck at a 10-foot height.
Right.
You can brace an 8-foot wall with a 10-foot brace, a 9-foot wall with a 10-foot brace. If you have a 10-foot brace and you run into a 12-foot wall, we have a simple 2-foot extension that gets you that extra 2 feet of reach with a tight flush connection with a male tongue and a hinge pressure plate that tightens against a pin. That came to replace guys hacking a 2x4 on the top of the brace when they ran short.
Dude, I used to use the metal strut material, like the electrician's metal strut that they put in the roof to attach things to and stuff for like drop down ceilings and things like that. That was what we would bolt to our alignment system to extend it. And now we use the 4-foot. It is so common for us to go a 16-foot wall now. And and it's funny because even talking Canadian to US, like Canadian, you guys do a lot of 10-foot up in Canada. That's your biggest seller, correct?
Yeah.
And then we use all 12-foot, like everything's 12-foot. And then we put the 4-foot alignment, or, we haven't had a job in the last year that hasn't needed some 4-foot extension pieces at this point. So we throw that a piece in, and it is like I said, I'm not trying to kiss up to you, Harry. Sounds like I'm trying to date you, but you guys do such a good job on this.
I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah, that's right. I'll take you to dinner. Hey, matter of fact, I'll buy you dinner at the awards ceremony tonight. How about that? So the system you guys have figured out where it just slides right in. It's got again, going back to the impact wrench deal, it goes from an 1.125" socket down to a 1-inch socket, right? Is it 3/4?
This is an 1.125".
1.125", and then this one's a 1-inch, right, or whatever. But it's a little different size, but I can't remember exactly, but it drills out with the same tool. So basically, your guys get up there and they just go, brrr, and it tightens that thing up so square and flush. It's great. Gives you that extension. It's awesome.
So that was the example on this. I call it the simple 2-foot extension. You're going to increase your vertical reach by 2 feet by plugging that thing, and it's a low cost in place of hacking a 2x4 in, like I say. But now if we're getting more serious, like you mentioned, and you have a 10-foot brace and you come up against a 14-foot wall, you're going to add to that, not the simple 2-foot extension, you're going to add the 14-foot tall wall adapter system, which is a 4-foot adapter, same male tongue, same hinge pressure plate for a tight flush connection, along with the hardware to attach it. But we're also going to add to that what we call the telescopic 6-hole outrigger extension, because you're going to raise your platform up and your standard outrigger is now going to be hanging in the wind. So that offers you the proper support and 12 different length choices. So you can choose the length and the angle of that to make sure you have the proper support.
Extremely important. And people that aren't on a job site dealing with that probably don't understand how important that is, because you haven't been in a situation where you have footers in the way, or you have, like, we deal with stuff all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Like it's
footers, rocks,
to be able to move it and extend it,
even
or
another
wall. Yeah. Like in certain situations. So, so and to give a visual for people, because this is audio, is when you extend that up higher, obviously your foot then is not at a 45-degree angle. It's at a tighter angle. So we come and put this extension in, you pop one pin out, you slide the pieces apart, you stick the extension in the middle. Now you can extend that foot out farther, which is going to give you that 45-degree angle you want for push and pull. So it's such a slick system, and it's just like I said, it's exactly what keeps the wall where it needs to be.
Yeah, and I think and one of the things that we talk about a lot with the alignment system, and we rent it out to DIYers and new people getting started all the time. But like your system is also what you're going to walk around on. It's your scaffold that you're going to walk around on.
Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that, did we?
No, it's
built right into it.
It's built right into it. So you've got to have the planks to put on there, or you rent those as well. But that allows you to walk around and actually be able to pour mud into the wall, stack the wall up even taller, and finish your job.
I'll give you a little pro tip. If you are doing a 12-foot pour, put it at 8 feet, because 4 feet is a good angle to stand at and pour your mud in, because we've done that mistake before where you're standing there at 5 feet and you're looking in over the top, and some people aren't 6 feet tall, but
correct.
Or you're down really high on your feet. So you always 4 foot's a good spot to be at for your pour. For if you're holding on the business end of the pump, you'd like to be 4 feet.
Yeah. And then one of the things we don't have that I keep telling, I'm like, this is on my list of things to add to it, because when we're up, we're doing a 16-foot tall wall. It's funny how just that 4-foot height difference going from a 12-foot wall to a 16-foot wall, and you move your plank up there, you feel like you're so much higher off the ground. And so you have these extra, and I don't know the technical terms for them, for the railing,
We call it the steel safety post option. So the standard brace comes with a pocket. You can see here, the pocket fits the option to place a wood safety post. If you want to do that on site, keep costs down, or perhaps you don't need it in your jurisdiction. If the platform height is under a certain height, you may not need it. If you want, that steel post plugs into that same pocket in the platform. And then we have hangers for your horizontal rails. Some guys use rebar. Most guys would use 2x4s. Yeah, it's the fall protection.
It is. And it's so like, this is me, and maybe it's, just being a little bit chicken, but you get up there so high and you know that your scaffolding and all of it is secured to the wall and your ICF, you're good. It's not going anywhere, but just having that bracket or, the safety rail up there makes it feel so much more secure.
And if anyone from OSHA's listening, we always have our safety rails on every job, all the time.
We pack
Safety
around
rails.
2x material to make our rails out of
We
it.
do.
So this
We
is
do.
why,
We are the
I'm going to
safest
get
people
the
ever.
safety rails for our stuff for future, just because I think that's so much easier and we don't have to carry around pieces of lumber.
Okay, so Chad was a little nervous that we could not talk about Plumwall for 30 minutes, and we are right now at 26. So I told you so.
Yeah.
Why don't you bust
Okay.
into these questions, because
Yes.
Chad's already, this is his second go around, so he should be
it's
pretty
not
good at this.
it's not a rocket ship. I was wondering about 30 minutes.
Hey, people love this stuff, man. I mean, I can't wait to show you the comments on this podcast because people love this stuff.
Yeah. All right. So question number 1, Chad's a pro because he's already done this before, but why Plumwall?
I think it's because of the efficiency and the ease of use that we built into the system over 20 years. I mean, you pull the pin, unfold it, attach to the wall, you're done. No 7 trips, no 7 pieces to keep track of. In fact, of all the advantages we've mentioned the adjuster mechanism, we mentioned the fold-up design, we mentioned the neat, tidy storage and transport crate, the custom designs, the ability for us to provide a bracing solution for 8, 10, 12, 14, all the way up to 28 and anywhere in between. The number one piece of feedback we get from ICF builders that have owned the brace 3, 4, 5, 6 years is it's just there when I need it.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't have missing parts. I know that there are 24 braces in that crate by looking at it. And it's the most simple piece of feedback we get is the stupid thing's just there.
Yeah.
It's ready to go tomorrow.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
All right. Question number 2, a memorable moment with Plumwall, job or
Somewhere in the creation, you mentioned something about you were going to save something for later about the creation and things that have changed over the years.
A memorable moment. I think I have to go back to the example of the labor savings.
Yeah.
In comparison to maybe some older technology pieces that are out there. I'll go back to Little Ben, they call him on the job site. Little Ben is the only guy that sets up bracing. He is 17 years old and he sets the Plumwall up all by himself.
Yeah.
And he takes them down all by himself. So my favorite moment was I was on that job site that day and we were doing some filming and there's a ICF builder that we have a relationship. We'll do testing to try and make things better. They were the first guys we brought the MST bar to. Separate topic.
Yep.
But I watched him setting up those braces as a 17-year-old summer student who ended up staying on that crew after school.
Yeah.
Like after he was in high school. But yeah, that was my favorite moment, just watching him set those up all by himself while the more experienced guys were laying block, doing planning, and they weren't even watching him. It's an easy system to use.
That's cool for you just to sit back and watch that and understand that that's part of that's your contribution to the build job, right? Like, I mean, the fact that you're making it so that this build job goes better because one guy's able to go and do this, that's huge. I mean, as we know as builders, like, God, give me, one guy that can do one thing so we can be doing something and multitasking. It's huge. And it's just cool to get to watch your own product do that.
And even today, you've been hanging out in our booth for a couple hours. Yeah. How many times has the topic about, I can't find guys to work? I think the last 3 guys.
Everyone.
Every time.
So this at least helps with that problem.
Yeah, no, it's and young. I shot. What do you say? What is his name? Ben, young Ben. Is that what it is? So Ben is a great example. Like, and I mean, we always try to give a shout out to our other podcast, the Wreak Havoc podcast, that we talk about the importance of getting the youth involved in all this. So kudos to Ben that he's involved in this. We're gonna have to make sure to share. Yeah, look at that.
That's old Ben. That's why they call him Young Ben. The owner of that company he's not old. He's only in his 30s, but.
That gets you old Ben when you
17.
have younger Ben. Yeah, he's not 17. We're looking at a video on the screen here in the booth. So that's, but yeah, so we're going to have to get Ben's number and give him a shout out so he can listen to this podcast and hear that we were talking about him. Good job, Ben. You're a player just like my son. I'd love it. I love to see these guys that are getting into it and the young guys getting into the ICF industries are good for you. So question number 3.
All right. Normally you get asked this question. So do you want to ask it?
Yeah. Like, so where do we see this going? Is there anything, I mean, I'm not asking you to share confidential information, but if you have confidential information you want to share, you can. Is there anything that you guys are working on? Is there anything that you see in the industry? Is there anything that you're excited about your product doing in the industry moving forward?
I think it's just continuing to offer a very efficient option to brace walls. And there's no secret, we grow with the ICF industry.
Mm-hmm.
And when new builders come to town and start building specifically with ICF, they often rent to start. But then when they buy their own braces, I think we've heard it over the years. Hey, now you're actually
now
in
they're
the
selling.
business.
Yeah, no. Absolutely.
That continued slow growth that we've seen over the past 20 years, I'm excited to see that continue. That 1 year, a couple of years ago, it was like a giant spike. Maybe not like that. The slow growth.
Hockey stick, right? That's a Canadian term. It was hockey stick growth, right?
Yeah, we're still open to suggestions, like even something silly like the top of that brace you see there. It used to be laser cut at a 90-degree angle. And a couple seasoned guys, Marty McCartney and Mike Simons, they're both ICF experts in their own right, but they said, hey, why don't you make that rounded?
Oh, yeah.
And my joke that I say to builders is it might still catch your coat, but it won't draw blood anymore. So, I mean,
I have some hooks on my hoodie sweatshirts that have been hooked. So that's not out of the realm of possibility there. So,
so I would suggest we're at the point of fine tuning it. The platform has changed. You'll see the webs or trusses. That is because we have something called a Euro brace. The Euro brace is the same as the North American brace. However, the platform is wider because they need 3 planks.
Oh, okay.
So for ease of manufacturing, we kept it the same. It also has made it much stronger. I joke you can park a truck on it now.
Yeah. Why do you look at me when you say that? He said park a truck on it and you looked right at me. I don't like that.
I did not.
But one new thing we're actually working on, joking aside, is our commercial brace.
Yeah.
Commercial brace is listed in the ICF Builder magazine as available, and it is an 8-foot system that can stack on top 16, 24,
wow,
and 32.
That's exciting. Okay.
And it is with actually ICF tanks in mind is the market that calls for that. We've provided 3 of those packages recently. One was a tank for fish farms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something new that's actually is in production now. It doesn't necessarily relate to the residential ICF. I would say these 2 braces we're looking at here, the all-in-one and Plum 3 will service that and continue to service that. But it's an exciting development.
Yeah.
Dude, you nailed that question because like earlier, I wondered where you were going to pull that one out of. And that was actually really, really good because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there and see if he can do something cool. That's amazing because I think that's what we're seeing. Like ICF industry, speaking for the whole industry, things are just getting bigger. We're doing more and more bigger project. Like I got customers calling, asking like, I mean, so party walls in multifamily, you know, where we need to go high, they want to go like as high as we can and then they frame back up to it. Right. Or, I mean, we're getting almost every garage we do now has 16-foot walls in it because people are they want to have that RV bay, or we got people that are wanting to do like, I think as we get into more commercial, that's great. I mean, I'm so excited. Literally, this is genuine surprise to me because we haven't talked about this. I love the idea. I am sitting here thinking about what we can do for taller walls. And so the fact that you guys are thinking about that is
actually
awesome.
really cool. I got to see it. You were talking and I
What?
got to see it.
I was talking?
You were talking, yeah.
That's
Crazy.
We hid it
do
behind
that.
the demo wall here because when someone new to the industry walks up, they're trying to wrap their head around what this is, what does it do. So we thought it was a little misleading.
Yeah.
So we'll bring it out as conversations call for it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. I think we nailed this episode. I think everybody is, because I always think everything we do is awesome, but super stoked about it. It was such a fun time to be able to be on the floor of the World of Concrete 2024. We will continue to do this every year. I'm excited for more and more recordings that we'll do from here. We're actually going from here. You guys are the title sponsor of the ICF Builder Awards, which we're going to here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys for supporting the industry. Not that I get the right to speak for the industry, but we sure appreciate you guys supporting the industry the way you do. I mean, financially and with your product, but like
and with their t-shirts, they outfit.
They
the
do
industry.
have the best t-shirts. If you ever come to World of Concrete and you get the chance to go to the ICF Builder Awards and get a Plumwall shirt, it'll be one of your favorite shirts. You guys have killer shirts. They're soft. They're nice.
Yeah, we've got great feedback on the shirts. So it's
great.
become an annual thing. We thought we tried for 1 year and it just stuck.
Dude, I swear to God, and again, all you have to do is go back through our socials and look at our pour jobs, and you're going to see most of our guys all wearing Plumwall shirts. Not sponsored. We just got them from the award ceremony. So, but super, super great event. We had Vanessa on episode 3 where she talked about the Builder Awards. So, that is happening tonight. So we're excited to go hear who won and all the big announcements of who's going to win all the awards tonight. But Plumwall is the main sponsor on that. And you guys have just done such a great job over all the years sponsoring it. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a great partnership. It's been a pleasure. I mean, the ICF industry in general I think it's full of great people. It's amazing how small it is.
There's a couple guys that aren't. I'm not going to call them out on here, but you know who you are.
Okay, here, I'll take the lead here and I'll wrap it up. So if you want to find out more information about Plumwall, you can go to their website, plumwall.com. You can hit us up. We'll link them in the show notes, and hit us up on our socials, everything, at Build with ICF. info@buildwithicf.com for
and your guys'
email.
socials are just Plumwall System, Plumwall
Bracing Systems Inc.
Okay.
Or just search Plumwall and
we'll put it
on
in
Instagram.
I'm
and
going to put
Facebook,
it awesome.
I think.
They do a great job. Like their videos are awesome, high quality videos, high quality stuff. So we'll put all the links in that. You can get hold of Chad directly. Like I've said before, I'll put his personal cell phone number on there. You can text him late at night, whatever
you won't
you
know
want
who
to do.
you are, even if you've texted him before.
Oh, there you go. Well done. Well, way to work that in. So thank you, everybody. Again, if you guys, anything that you have that you want us to do, obviously we got requests to do this as an alignment system. People are asking questions about these things. So please reach out to us, info@buildwithicf, @buildwithicf on all the socials. Please reach out to us and DM us. You guys are doing a great job of it. We love it. It's so awesome that it's taken off the way it is. Please let us know what we can do for you, because we're here to service you guys and give you guys more information about this industry. So please let us know what we can do. So thank you very much, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.